Yesterday's results in League One have set us up for an absolute blockbuster week ahead in the promotion race. Here is why. We've become very used to a haves and have-nots split in the League One results over the past couple of seasons, with the majority of the top 8 to 10 tending to all win together. This was strangely absent yesterday, with the top 3 all getting wins, and then nobody between 4th and 9th place picked up 3 points. What this means, and I know it keeps twisting and turning, is that we go into a vital week ahead focused back on that top 3 with the drop points for others, leaving them hoping for a short-term swing to get them back into the race. I think we can deal with Sheffield Wednesday pretty quickly this week. Don't take it personally, Wednesday fans. It's a compliment to the unbelievable consistency of Darren Moore and that absolutely rock-solid defence. This 21-game unbeaten run has had most of us feeling now that Wednesday are champions-elect. They're not involved in what is going to be an absolutely fascinating catch-up round on Tuesday night either. So we'll just park the Owls for a week. The team I think everyone will have their eyes on this week, however, is Plymouth Argyle. The Pilgrims had dropped points in their previous 2 games, but yesterday their mighty home form saw victory again against Charlton and maintained that 5-point gap over Ipswich in 3rd. Now, if you've regularly watched my League One analysis, you'll all know I've banged on about March the 11th as this huge milestone for Plymouth for the longest time now. In terms of reaching that last 10 games, their opponents in that run-in features just 1 top half side and 5 of the current bottom 6. It's always felt like that if a lead, and it's a 5-point lead now, is still intact by the time next week rolls around, all the hard work is done for Plymouth, and providing they don't run the car off the racetrack in the final 10, their lead is surely going to stay intact. But it's a couple of fierce challenges for Argyle. Their 2 toughest remaining opponents this season come up this week: Derby at home and then Barnsley away. Now, Derby aren't quite on that intense winning streak they were 5 or 6 games back. With that being said, and with Plymouth's absurd home record, maybe the chances of the Rams going there and winning have lessened. But look, it's Paul Warne, McGoldrick, Hurahan, etc. And the minimum it's going to be for Plymouth is a very stiff test for sure. And then it looks like an even trickier fixture pops up at the weekend. It's Barnsley away for Plymouth. Argyle on the road, 3 wins in 10. Barnsley at home, 8 wins in 9. In short, it's a really tricky and busy week for Plymouth. My view is they'll probably drop points and end the 2 games maybe on 3 or 4 points. That will do and maintain the lead. Look, if they win neither, things could be looking very, very interesting. If they win both, I'm definitely going to be coming on here next week saying, standing ovation, they've surely killed off the competition and the conversation, and Argyle are going up. So look, you can see the potential for some ground to be made up on Plymouth. Ipswich in 3rd, they're also doing a 3-game week. We know Derby do that in 5th as they're headed to Plymouth on Tuesday. Barnsley are also playing in midweek. From an Ipswich point of view, Accrington at home in midweek looks like a nice fixture. They've been very successfully dismantling the teams at the bottom and rattling the goals against them at Portman Road. But on Saturday, when Plymouth might perhaps be most vulnerable going off to Barnsley, 3rd place Ipswich go away to 4th place Bolton. Oof. Would you be surprised if, like Plymouth, Ipswich are in the 3 or 4 points bracket for those 2 games? Basically, look, Ipswich need to go and win at Bolton to make this an interesting race. Bolton have only lost twice at home all season. It's going to be 2 away games then for Derby. that daunting looking trip to Plymouth, and then an easier assignment at currently managerless Oxford. It's a big gap currently for Derby up to Plymouth, 10 points indeed. But there is always this element of destiny being in your own hands being a good thing. Can they go and beat Plymouth on their own turf and put themselves at least back into the conversation? Barnsley further back are almost the most interesting case and the unknown quantity, as they have games in hand over everyone else, 2 and 3 in some cases. They play twice at home this week. Okay, first against an improving Pompey side, and then it's that massive head-to-head with Plymouth at the weekend. Basically, the Tykes know that if they win both games, they're going to be at worst 7 points behind Plymouth with 2 games in hand. Interesting. This League One promotion race has not let us down. It's going to be another brilliant week ahead coming up. And really, let's face it, all eyes are on Plymouth. They set the tone here. If the best case scenario plays out for the Argyle, they win both, and Ipswich are maybe a 0 or a 1, it's surely all over and the top 2 is done. If the worst case scenario were to play out for Argyle and they're a 0, Ipswich, Barnsley and Derby all win both games, could happen, we could be sat here with a new team in second place and 2 others slightly further back in the mix once again. Look, these are obviously the extremes. That's why they're called the best and worst case scenarios. So why don't you let me know in the comments how you see this massive week ahead playing out. And please, as ever, head over heart. Don't go all fanboy on me and predict the best case scenario for the team you support, because you hope that's what's going to happen. More honesty, please. Tell me what you think is going to happen. And by the way, in terms of predictions, we had a bit of fun in midweek trying to predict all 10 teams who are going to be promoted in the 3 EFL divisions this season. Click up here to see what I had to say.